For more than 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter in our community. From our studios in St. Clair, you're watching Focus with Paul Dingeman.
Well, welcome to a special edition of the Focus program. We are very honored to have back in the studio Jeff Katofsky, the developer of the St. Clair Inn and the chairman of the board of St. Clair County Commissioners, Mr. Jeff Bowman. Jeff, welcome back.
Thanks, Paul.
Other Jeff, welcome back.
Nice
to see you both. You guys are busy, both of you, and we thank you for the opportunity to come in and talk to us for a few minutes about where we're at on the St. Clair Inn and some other new developments, specifically the East China Education Building on 6th Street, where you're going to be doing some remodeling and changing there. So welcome back.
Thank you.
Nice to see you, sir.
Thanks for having me.
This has been a project that the St. Clair Inn and the city of St. Clair has been a project of yours since 2014, 2015. First record I have is 2015. You said to us earlier in an interview that you came by and walked in and fell in love with an old lady in 2015.
I did. We were already in escrow in 14, but yeah, first time I actually physically got out here was late 15.
And then Mr. Bowman and the mayor, Cedar, joined us and did an interview in February of 2016, where you guys were talking about all the wonderful opportunities that were going to happen for the city. And then later that year, June, we sat down and you started to tell the wonderful story of what's happening.
Well, and it's starting to come true, right?
It's starting to come true. And all the things you have said and done have come to fruition. I mean, you're not talking pie in the sky. When you say something, it happens.
Well, I try to keep my word.
Yeah.
It's important to me. You know, I tell people you may not like what you hear,
right?
But if I say I'm going to do it, I will do it.
Yep.
And I try to be careful to not say things that I don't know yet if I can do. And so everything we try to tell you in the public are things that we know we can do, intend to do, and will do.
It's kind of funny you talk about that, Paul, because, I mean, turn the clock back, there was a lot of skeptics in town.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, so on.
Well, they've
just
been
really
through
going
so
to
many
happen,
times, so many owners.
so on and so forth, and I just fast forward, here we are today, and you can drive by there and see what's going on there. Obviously, Mr. Katofsky's bought the Harrington Inn. We just went through there earlier today, touring a group. They're going to town on that, and then he's got some plans for this building coming up that he's going to be sharing with you here today. So I've been drinking the Kool-Aid, as I would say.
And the wonderful thing, going back to these older videos, we all look younger.
I'd like to think I had hair 3 years. I'd like to think I had hair 3 years ago, but it's been gone.
Mine wasn't so gray, I can tell you that.
Let's talk about the building, which is affectionately now called East China Education Center.
Sure.
It was the St. Clair Middle School. It was the St. Clair High School. It was built in 1929 and has been a wonderful institution for all those years here in the city of St. Clair. You now are the owner of the building, and you have some plans. What's happening?
I do. Was it 29? I thought it was 19. Is it 29?
39. Maybe.
39?
29, 39.
It's an old building. It's almost as old as the inn.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Right.
We do have some plans, and I think they're exciting plans, and we're still working through some of them. So I'm going to tell you what I know we're going to do.
Okay.
And I'll tell you a couple of things that we'd like to do.
Okay.
Which is a little bit different than what I would usually do, because I'm not sure yet. We just closed escrow on it this month.
Oh, okay.
We were supposed to close in November, and ironically, there was an easement that basically took Mulberry Street right through the middle of the school, and the easement was from the 1800s.
Right.
And nobody ever knew it. They built a school on top of this easement, and when we tried to get title to move it over, they said, you can't, there's a street that runs through it.
Right.
So we had to go through a process to vacate that. And I know there was some confusion about what was going on, but we're sitting in the building now.
Correct.
Theoretically, about 15 feet behind us, there would have been a street that ran through the building. That's what we were vacating there.
That's right. And there was confusion. There was a public hearing.
Right.
And it was a hard concept for some people to understand.
It was a hard concept for me and the title to understand, because when you look at the map, you look at this going, wait a second, you can't drive there, there's a building there. So we fixed it and we were able to close. So what we intend to do is multifaceted here. The main purpose of this building is to create workforce housing. And what that means is we're going to have between 300 and 350 employees for both St. Clair Inn and the Hotel Harrington. And by the way, it's a Hotel Harrington now, not the Harrington Inn. We're going back to the original name.
Okay.
Within the office, we call them Harry and Claire, because Claire's a she and Harry is a he, and so we go by Harry and Claire. It's shorter that way. Most our employees our hopes are going to all be local. And I want to use the word kids because millennials to me are still kids, because we're in a different generation. Yep. Most of your employees are going to be kids. They're going to be in that early 20s to early 30s, because your people bussing tables, your people serving cocktails, your wait staff, your line cooks, these are all millennials. Yep. And that's the workforce now. It's the workforce in the industry. And a lot of them, I hope, and the intention is, and we've met with Riza, we've met with Baker College, a lot of them are going to come out, certainly from the culinary side, from those groups. And I think you even said it in one of the meetings with us, Paul. And we're hoping, there's 110, I think, Jeff, kids who graduate from Baker every year. That Riza graduates another 30 or 40. About 150 kids looking for jobs
in the
every
culinary
year.
world.
In the culinary world. And I'm going to have 200-something jobs in the culinary world. Not just because you're learning how to be a chef, some of them are learning how to be bartenders. Correct. Some of them are learning how to be line cooks. So we're going to have spots for as many as they want to give us. And we've told them that, and I hope they're out promoting it. I think they are, to the kids out there, is come here and work here hard for 2 years, learn the craft, and you have a job down the street or up the street, depending on where you are. Well, so if you look at those millennial kids, a lot of them either live in 2, 3, 4, to a room because it's expensive, or they're living far away because there isn't apartment space here in town. It's an expensive place to live, St. Clair. Right. Some of them are living in mom and dad's basement still. Right. And we want to give them a place to live. And to do that, we can take these classrooms here in this building and convert them into an apartment. Oh my God. And so we can get about 65, give or take, apartment units here for our workers. Wow. And that's the main intention of the building. So these are really for local kids, or kids graduating out of Baker or Riza or the community college, that are going to come work for us, that want to get out of their basement, or want to live on their own and don't want to live with 3 other people in a room because that's what they can afford, and have low-income housing. Because we were able to purchase the building very cheaply from the school district, right. We can pass that on by doing really, really cheap rents to these kids. And go ahead. And
I just want to jump in. I want to emphasize that, because we've heard it, on the street, that they're going to be bringing in workers from other countries and this type of thing.
That's been a rumor. That's been on the street.
That is not true. So we just want to clear the air on that. Okay. When you talk about these old school conversions, I just went recently on a tour of one in Yale. If you go in downtown Yale, Michigan, they have a building very similar to this. Okay. They went through, they converted it. They actually turned theirs into a senior center, but they have 40 different units up there. Was on the tax rolls for zero forever. It's on the tax rolls for just under $800,000 today. Wow. Extremely positive. John Osborne, who's the city manager, we met with him. Actually, Brian Mahaffey, who's well known in St. Clair, he's the chief of police up there now. We met with Brian. Nothing but positive things for that community. So if you even want to look at a community that's went through a conversion on an old school building and the impact that it had and the positive, just drive up to Yale, Michigan, right downtown. Looks like the old school from the outside, but I can assure you, when you get in there, it's been totally done. You wouldn't know if you're in an old school, if you're in a new build. I mean, that's
one of the issues, or one of the points that was brought up in 2015, 16 kind of thing. It was and Jeff was at a meeting where you were at, and he made everybody in the place raise their hand if they'd worked at the St. Clair.
You're right. Yep.
And the whole room raised their hand. And that's similar to what you're trying to accomplish, in the fact that you're going to hire local high school kids and young college kids to work at the St. Clair Inn.
This is the next generation of the workers of the St. Clair Inn. 100%, except that we're going to give them an opportunity to get out of their parents' house. And the parents will thank me after they finish crying. They'll thank me, right? But that really is the intention, because when we looked around and said, okay, we need 350 people, let's say, to work here. It's hard enough to find 350 people. Correct. In a market that, quite frankly, we're almost at zero joblessness in this country. Correct. So we wanted to do that, but I'm getting, everywhere I go, I'm hearing you're going to have a job available. So I'm not concerned about getting bodies here. People want to go back and work at the inn. Yeah. But they need a place to live, and what you don't have are apartment units here. And the more we can make this walking friendly and close. So here you have a situation where these kids that will be living here can walk to work.
Yes.
So they'll park their car here. They'll
Walkable community.
They'll leave their car here, and they are living downtown, which is what that age grade, all over the country, they want to live downtown. So we're giving an opportunity to live downtown. They can walk to Palmer Park. They can walk to the mall. They can walk to the candy store. They can walk to the inn. They'll be able to walk everywhere. You're bringing vibrant youth back to downtown, which we all need, and they're going to live right here. And that really is the main concept of what we want to do. There's other things we can talk about, but that's the primary purpose, is to take kids, who are living in the dorms at Baker College or at Riza, or living in their parents' homes, and are going to come work for us, and we're going to give them an opportunity to live at a very reasonable rate, pretty much at cost.
So the city of St. Clair is scheduling a public hearing for this building, because there's going to be some rezoning and things along those lines.
Right.
So the public can come and can talk to you about what these plans are for the East China Education Center?
Yeah, what I want to do is, just like we're talking about it today, if people have questions, because this isn't a public question and answer, this is me giving information. So people will have some specific questions. Maybe they live in the area and they want to know about the parking or how we're going to move cars around, which we can talk about. I'll answer them. I mean, I've always been forthright, I think, at answering people's questions. We'll give them an opportunity rather than doing it at the public hearing, because there's no real back and forth in a public hearing. I'm going to answer all the questions ahead of time. And if they still have comments, then they certainly can go to the public hearing and make them to the city council. But at least they'll have some information that I've given them rather than things they're hearing on the street. So let's talk about parking, for instance, because I know that.
I just want to emphasize 5:30 Monday, March 4th.
Okay.
We're going to do it pre the city council.
At Pine Shores Golf Course.
At Pine Shores. Because my understanding is that's where the meetings are currently built.
Temporarily.
And we will have some press release as well, the newspaper, put that up. But
we'll have it on our bulletin.
Yeah, we encourage people to come out and ask Q&A, and Jeff's going to share his vision further, and I think it will help dispel some,
You did the same thing with the Chamber of Commerce and the business merchants at the Voyager restaurant.
I did.
A couple years ago.
Right.
And there was all sorts of
Almost
concern.
3 years ago.
Who you were and what you were going to do and all that kind of stuff. But you stood there for an hour and a half, whatever it was, and answered every single question of everybody that brought one up.
I'm going to do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly the concept here. Listen, I can't anticipate every question, but if they ask me if I have an answer, I'll give it to them.
Right.
Just like I did there, and I'm always happy to do that. And people are entitled to the information. I have no problem with it. But let's use this, if I can use you a little more, let's use this to get some more information out now, because maybe someone doesn't have to come to the meeting if I'm going to answer their question this way. So the primary parking up here at the school is going to be employee parking.
Okay.
What we'll do is we will shuttle people from the hotel if they don't walk. A lot of people will walk, but we'll shuttle people up. So rather employees, right. So rather than having, we'll have a 14-person van, and we'll run that up the street. And the primary route, even for parking any cars, would be up Vine to 6th Street and over Orchard. So we're staying out of the residential area over here.
Right.
And we'll be parking. If I have 275 employees at the end, not all there at the same time.
Correct.
But let's say there's 200 there at any one given time. Take out carpools and take out people that are walking from here where they live. Maybe you have 100 cars. We'll put them up here. It's not a problem. They're out of the way. They're not. The guests don't have to deal with them. The valet guys aren't moving them. They're sitting up here for the 8 or 10 hours during the shift. And then if they aren't going to walk to work, we'll bring a van up. We'll put 14 people in the van. We'll drive them back down. Very little traffic flow that way, and that's part of it. We're really not, unless we're slam. We're not going to valet cars up here. We don't need to, because we've got enough parking down by the end. And if we have some overflow, we can bring it up here. But that's going to be on the occasion that the hotel is really, really booked up. And I'm not going to say it's not going to happen, but it's not an everyday occurrence.
Employee applications.
Yes.
Is that too early?
Yeah, but not too early. We're about a month away, and I will give you those dates when we're ready to go. We'll have some job fairs. So we have our GM, we have our head chef, we have our food and beverage director. You've met Miranda a couple times, who's our
She's just great.
She
told me the other day she's got her first wedding for October, and she's got the cash.
She does. That's right. That's right. I heard that right after she told you. She told me. I'm not sure how that worked. She likes you better. We have our HR director. So we're filling that top line now.
Okay.
That top line will then do some job fairs and some things locally here to bring that in. And I'll let you know when that's coming. I'm going to say that's going to be late March, early April is when we're going to start doing that.
Happy to help you.
Other things we're looking to do here. Obviously, you're going to be a tenant. here because you're not going anywhere because
Yep.
we love having you here. We're working out some space with Parks and Recs with the
good.
city.
Good.
Not just the pool, because they have the pool also,
Yep.
that stays.
Yep.
But we're working out some time for some of the gym space for Parks and Recs. We'll have that worked out soon. We're gonna move the bakery from the inn
Okay.
up here, because we're gonna do all fresh baked goods, both for retail and use in the inn. And so we're
Yep.
gonna take the kitchen here and modify it to a bakery kitchen. So they'll be in here baking every morning, which we talked about. You're
Paul
happy,
might be
you're happy about it, not
yeah.
happy about, right? We're going to move the employee lounge and locker room up here for the employees, so they'll change up here
Okay.
and have a place to hang out because they don't have that space in the inn. And then the last piece is we're playing around with what we're going to do with the auditorium. We definitely want to figure out how to have some community activation of that auditorium. That auditorium needs some work.
It's a nice auditorium, a nice size auditorium.
Very nice auditorium.
Small stage, but it could be blend itself to many things.
We want to go a little cafe, maybe take the seats out, put some new seats in, do some things in there. That's down the line. It certainly won't be this year.
Right.
In fact, the apartments won't be done until next year.
Okay.
We just can't get them done this
Right.
year. It'll be, call it spring of next year.
Okay.
At that time, we may have something with that auditorium. I'd love to have, there's no movie theater here.
Correct.
And rather than driving up to Sperry's every night, if you want to go see a movie, maybe we could do a Tuesday night movie night.
Yeah.
Where we show some old movies. So, come see Casablanca on Tuesday night
Right.
or something like that. Because I can get rights to show some old movies. We're not going to be the Avengers, right?
Right.
But we'll do stuff like that. Maybe we try to do some events here, bring a comedian in and do a show.
Right.
I'd love to have some of these traveling theater groups maybe come in and do some things once a month, even once a week, not just in the outside auditorium that we're doing outside at the inn, which holds people, but now we'll have an inside venue too. So we want to do that too. And that's one of those things that I'm not exactly sure what we're doing, but I am sure that we want to have some community activation there. I just don't know what that looks like yet. And those are really our plans for this building. They're not going to change because that's why we bought it, quite frankly.
March the 5th. March the
March
4th.
4th. March
the
4th.
4th.
Monday,
Yep.
March
At 5:30.
4th,
Right.
5:30.
At Pine Shores Golf Course.
Yep.
Shores Golf
But
Course.
before we stop, bring us up to quick date on the Reader's Digest version of the St. Clair Inn, where we're at, what we're doing.
We're kicking butts and taking names. We've got drywall now on 3 of the 5 residential floors there. We are, the pool house is close to being done. The cottages basically are done other than the furniture. Furniture is being made for all over the hotel. The weather has cost us a little bit here
Yep.
on that middle building. Ironically, the government shutdown cost us some time. It actually affected us on several levels, and it cost us a little bit of time on some things, which you wouldn't anticipate, but it trickled down. So that
Like some of the historical tax credits,
Yeah.
some of those departments you would be
Oh,
dealing
okay.
with.
Some of the
you know.
some of the
So they're
lending things,
just
some of the funding.
so they're shut down for that entire period. Also.
The west building, we'll start seeing some above ground work in about a week.
Okay.
You'll probably see the steel by the end of the month.
Okay.
Go up. That thing will start to get framed out.
Okay.
We had a big meeting on that today
Good.
to really get rolling, literally starting Monday. The underground work's done. It's just
Yeah.
now you're going to see the above ground work start. And again, weather permitting. The weather has been tough. But
Well, you've had positive weather. I mean, the weather has been.
It was
without- with
it was
the
great.
exception of, yeah.
Yeah, up until having
the 6
minus
inches.
400 last week wasn't really great.
Right.
But
Right.
but you'll see shovels in the ground next week on the west side.
Good.
As people are driving by, just so they know what they're going to see. You're not seeing a lot at the end because most of that work's getting done on the inside.
Right.
But there's 100 guys out there every day working right now.
We mentioned it at City Council one night. Mike Booth, the city manager, did about people to want to go to lookingglass.com, the
Yes.
fellow that takes the pictures.
Right.
And he's got some spectacular
He's-
pictures. He's
yes.
a wonderful photographer.
He's incredible, right? And they can still go Mike takes pictures of the inn and Hotel Harrington now.
Oh, right.
He's doing them both, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to see what we're doing up there, because we're full crew up there also right now. We want to get that open this summer as well, a little bit later, but August or September we'll have the Harrington open.
You'll probably have him here too then. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
see.
Yeah,
We'll see
yeah.
what
But certainly though, so you can go to his website, see his photographs. He does a time lapse, I think, once a month, and he does weekly pictures. And boy, if you want to see the story, I mean, he's doing just a phenomenal job keeping the history of that.
And I say it every time I see you. Thank you so much for
Thanks for
coming to
having
St.
me.
Clair.
Really
We
appreciate your time.
Appreciate you coming and having confidence in our community to work with you. And I think with people like Jeff, you've seen that that's happening.
I say it all the time. Thanks for not understanding your real estate, because I get it.
Take care of that sweet little old lady.
All right.
That's about it for this special edition of the Focus program. Till next time, I'm Paul Dingeman. See you soon.
Thanks for watching Focus with Paul Dingeman. Focus is produced at the CTV Community Television Studios in St. Clair. For over 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter to our community.